George, I'm a huge fan of yours. If you haven't heard George, you probably have actually heard George, but you might not know it. But he's recorded with, Paul McCartney, Tori Amos, Dr. John, and a million other people. But he's the bass player from the Meters. Like that's how I know you and how I sort of got introduced to your music and your bass lines and I've been, working out your bass lines and stealing stuff from you for a long time, so I do apologise. But if you rewind, how did you even get into this racket in the first place? How did you become a musician?
I think it was, my mom she sang in a Catholic church choir.
Yeah.
And where we were growing up, our neighborhood, our life expectancy in that neighborhood for young black men didn't pass teenage thing.
Really well.
A lot of my young friends, didn't get to adulthood.
Yeah.
And the organ player at that choir told my mother that she should get me and my brother into music. And I think there's a good chance that we can be away from that livelihood, that the street thing. Little did he know that music took me to the streets. But it was that. I think that was about my mom. He suggested violins actually, and my mom brought home when we were like 7, I think 6, 7, going on 7 years old.
So you started really young.
And brought these violins to the house, and me and my brother and my dad hadn't gotten in from home yet, and gotten in from work. Yeah. And me and my brother was in the back. And my dad hit the ceiling and said, "Get that out of here."
Hey, do you want free bass gear, extra content, and exclusive videos? Well, listen up. As an SPL Insider, you get to be part of our free monthly giveaways where you can win bass straps, strings, pedals, multi-effects units, gig bags, even full-on basses like this one. But that's just the start. SPL Insiders also get exclusive director's cut versions of our YouTube videos, longer with deeper insights and packed with extra tips you will not find anywhere else. Plus, you're also going to get bonus behind the scenes content as well. All of this exclusive content is only available to SPL Insiders. It's not on YouTube and it's not on our website. It's truly exclusive. And the best part is it's 100% free. Just click the link below or go to splinsider.com, sign up and boom, you're in. Free gear, exclusive content, no brainer.
In my neighborhood where I was at, there was a corner house the next block from us. These guys played guitars on every Friday and Saturday nights. If they weren't gigging, they were in that house on that corner playing all night, smoking cigarettes and playing guitars and everything. So, I mentioned to my mom that I wanted a guitar,
Yeah.
And my grandmother bought me a guitar.
A lot cooler than mine.
Yeah, so at 8 years old, I got my guitar and started studying classical.
Oh, really?
Guitar.
So you were like,
because it was a gut-head guitar.
Yeah.
And the teacher that I was going to, a gentleman named Hamilton Brown, he saw the type of guitar was dictated what I was going to be learning. So he started teaching me the classical formula. Yeah. But I was playing country western songs. I was home on the range and that kind of stuff to learn the formula of playing like this. All these fingers. I was okay with that. And one day on my way to my Saturday lesson, I took a different route because I was living on Perdita Street. Well, there was a bus stop at the corner of Perdita and Galvez. I used to catch that bus and go to my lesson. Yeah. But this particular day, I walked at one block and I made a right turn and went to the next block up, and I was going to take the bus at Tulane and Galvez. But when I got to the corner of Gravier and Dershowitz, I heard music. So I kind of walked. I made that left turn instead of walking all the way to Tulane Avenue. I made that left turn to go that next one block, and I saw this guy and his grandfather playing, sitting on the steps playing. Yeah. The old man was playing this formula, but he was playing St. Louis Woman.
Oh,
You know, he was
yeah.
playing blues. And so I listened at that, and I say, man, this is what I want to play.
That's the stuff that
This
you
was
wanna
about.
play, yeah.
This was well into a year of my classical country westerns learning.
Yeah.
So I said, man, I'm playing the wrong song. You know. So the next recital, instead of playing, I think it was Home on the Range or something like
Yeah.
that. I played St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
And my teacher, he said, don't come back no more. You're undisciplined. You're not going to ever be anything. Go away. Don't come back again, you know. Because they had all the programs all printed out, and I was supposed to play. You know, and I didn't play what I was supposed to play. So, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And when did you pick up the bass for the first time?
Well, the bass guitar kind of came, you know, all during the fact that, you know, the earlier classical training, I was learning how to play bass lines.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what I was doing. You know, so
Yeah.
the bass lines came. You know, it was Vietnam, I guess, at home. You know,
Yeah.
most of the younger bass players got drafted. I couldn't touch my toes, so I got rated as a 4F.
Right, got you.
It means that, so you know, the only way a 4F would go into the military is if it was a war.
Right, okay,
But they couldn't draft me, so
Yeah.
I got bypassed because of the 4F rating. You know, all because I couldn't touch my toes. I
Yeah.
still can't touch my toes. But
I really want to check if I can touch my toes. I don't think I can touch my toes.
No wars, okay? I'm not. But you know, guys, they were called, like Herbert Wing was a good friend, and I played in his band off and on, as you know,
Yeah.
when the bass player couldn't be there, I would play
Yeah.
bass. Or I would play when he had to get he had a better paying gig. He would send me on his gig playing guitar, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's how I got pretty much. It was just a need, and I just saw. Well, also, I realized that, you know, that I was a better bass player than I was a guitar player. I was a rhythm guitar player.
Yeah.
You know, and the first time I met Art Neville, Herbert Wing sent me on an Art Neville gig as a guitar player.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be playing lead and all that kind of stuff. And every song, Art would look at me and take a solo. I said, me no solo.
Yeah.
So, you know, so at the end of the gig, Art he told me, he said, man, you're the worst guitar player. So I got hung, but I mean, you know, I knew that I knew what my limits was on the guitar. I knew I was a rhythm guitar player, and I was very happy with that much. But I never got called to go back on his gig as a guitar
How
player.
old were you at this point?
I was 15. Yeah.
And what were you listening to? What kind of stuff were like? What kind of music?
I was
were you
listening to New Orleans music, you know, Earl Kings and all of the, you know, pretty much 90% of the New Orleans artists that was being played on the local station WYLD. Actually, it was WBOK, because WYLD was kind of playing some of the, you know, the crossover kind of music. WBOK strictly played Fats Diamond or, you know, Earl King, Snooks Eaglin, you know. That's the music I grew up on. You know? Those were my people, you know.
And how did you go from, like, obviously 15 years old, you know, you're crossing over, you're doing a bit of guitar, a bit of bass, and listening to loads of live music, playing loads of live music. How did you go from there to being the Meters? Like, where did the Meters come from?
Well, Art Neville came. I played a club called a Cindy Club. It was right across the street from a key club that was called Charlie's Corner. Well, Charlie's Corner was like where the upper class, you know, black community. You know, you had to have a key to go in there. You know? Well, it wasn't really a key. You just go to the door, you knock, and the guy look through the little window. You know? And if he knew who you were, he'll let you in, you know.
Yeah.
Well, Fats Domino used to hang over there all the time, and Fats Domino used to come when, you know, at the end of the night, when he get a good buzz going, he wanted to play.
Yeah.
So he would come across the street. I was playing with Irvin Bannister, a guitar player, and Fats would come across the street, usually about 15 minutes before it's time for us to go home. And he would sit down and play piano, and we end up playing for another hour, you know. The Fats would just come and play and hang out, you know. I was playing bass on that gig, and so one of these nights, Art came over with Fats, and he heard me playing bass, and he said at the end of after by the time when Fats decided to quit playing, you know, and we was over, you know, Art told me, saying, "Now that's the instrument you ought to be playing," you know.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
And that's what
he asked me to play if I wanted to join his new band that he hadn't actually gotten all together yet.
Really?
Which that band was started off as being Leo Nocentelli on guitar. There was a saxophone player named Gary Brown.
Yeah.
It was a 5-piece band. The drummer had to go in and have a minor surgery that took him away for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And during that 2-week period of time, Zig came in to play those gigs.
Yeah.
Glenn was his name. The drummer's name was Glenn, but I can't remember his last name. So Glenn came in that Sunday to let everybody know he's well and ready and happy to come back to work.
Oh no!
And he heard Zig playing the gig, and
Yeah.
he told the owner of the club, he said, "Man, I'm not gonna get this gig back," And that was the last I ever saw him.
Wow. Wow.
So the gig got after this club called a Nightcap. We played the club for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then the club kind of just, I don't know exactly why it folded up, or maybe Art asked for too much money. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the gig went away.
Yeah.
We were off for about two weeks, and Art called everybody up and said, we got a gig on Bourbon Street.
Wow.
And so we went from Nightcap to Bourbon Street, the Ivanhoe.
Yeah.
And we played the Ivanhoe and for probably another year and so. And Alan Toussaint used to come park on us. That's when you can drive down Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
He used to park in front of the club and listen at us play from outside, and sitting in his Eldorado. The little doorman used to always come say, "Hey, your boy came. He was sitting outside in his Eldorado listening to y'all." And we got a call one day from Art saying, "Hey, man, Alan wants us to come down to his studio and check it out."
Yeah.
So we went down to the studio, and we went in and did these Lee Dorsey tracks.
Yeah.
And we got hired as Alan's house band. We weren't hired because we weren't on salary. We got paid when we worked.
Yeah.
So so we did that for about probably almost a year.
And was that really the birth of the whole
band? That was the birth of because at that time we were still being called Art Neville and the Boys.
Yeah.
And at that time, Marshall Sehorn, Alan's partner, we had finished a Lee Dorsey session. We was at Cosmo Mutasa Studio, and actually it was called Jazz City by then.
Yeah.
And Marshall came in and told him, said, "Why don't y'all lay down something? Just play something,
Yeah.
So we played our break song that we were playing on Bourbon Street as our break song. We did that one. That song ended up being called Sophisticated Sissy.
Yeah.
Leo came up with these other 2 licks that came up to be Cissy Strut.
Yeah.
We played Turkey in the Straw, which ended up being Sehorn's Phone.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe the other side of that was, I think it was Here Come the Meter Man. I think that's what it was, or either Cordova. I can't remember which one. I think it was Here Come the Meter Man.
Yeah. And when did it blow up? Because obviously, you guys ended up on TV and all kinds of...
Sophisticated Sissy blew up. It blew up. It ran really high in the R&B charts. And I think it got into the pop charts, but then it getting really high. I think it was the top 100. It might have been 70 something like that.
Yeah.
But for a brand new band being up in the 70s, that was like a big deal. In that pop chart world. But it climbed really high. It got above 50 in the R&B charts. So Marshall immediately, maybe 3 weeks after they put that record out, Sophisticated Sissy, he stuck out Cissy Strut. And Cissy Strut climbed the roof, did the thing, Yeah,
because you guys ended up opening for the Rolling Stones, didn't you?
Yeah, we opened up for the Rolling Stones. We did 2 tours with those guys. 75 was a U.S. tour.
Yeah.
Then we came to Europe in 76 and did the whole 93 days on the road with the Stones.
It was amazing.
It was
Good
nuts.
experience.
It was crazy.
Yeah. How old were you when you did that?
Oh, well, 75. I was born in 47.
Never do math on camera. Never do math on camera. Yeah.
About 30 years old.
Amazing. And what are you doing now then? Because obviously the Meters disbanded, didn't they? And you've had various bands of your own.
Yeah.
What are you concentrating on now?
Well, right now in my immediate life, I'm doing my running partners band. I've done a solo project that ended up I took it away from being a solo project and called it a Porter Trio, which is the keyboardist Mike Limler from the Running Partners and also the drummer from the Running Partners, Terrence Houston. And we do a trio gig. And we've been doing a gig every Monday when I'm home at the Maple Leaf at home. And it was started off kind of being an instrumental fusion kind of jazz fusion kind of thing, funk fusion maybe. And and some of the songs I was writing, people were telling me, they said, "Man, that song could use some lyrics," So some of those songs got lyrics, and now I'm learning how to sing.
Man, so if somebody's in New Orleans, where should they go to check you out?
Well, when you're in New Orleans, the Maple Leaf on Monday nights, absolutely. Whenever I'm home, every week I'm home. Maple Leaf. And and I played some of the other clubs. I do the DBA when not as often, because they have a rotating thing they do. You might get in there 1 month and you be a month away, and then you get back in there. And it's usually on the weekends. And Tipitina's is every maybe 3 months I might get a date in there. Never.
But the Maple Leaf is the one to
the
go
Maple Leaf is like my home base, sort of,
Well,
and I like that more than anything because it's an easy going. It's not, you don't have to, I actually sit on a stool and play the game. It's not like you're being pressured into having to do a certain type of performance, and people not hitting on you to be playing a bunch of old songs, I do, the second set, I usually pull out stuff like, sound like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, some of that kind of, go way back, and have fun with some of the oldest ready and stuff and that stuff. But for the most part, the first hour or so of the gig, we're playing off the top of our heads,
Amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, George. I can't believe you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks so much for coming along, guys. George Porter Jr. Rock.